Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Stamping for Scrapbookers Today. Now this is a series that I do with Sarah, Caitlin, and Christina. And each month we have a theme and we show how you can use stamping in your scrapbook layouts. Now this month's theme is layered and or fall theme stamps. I didn't have layered fall theme stamps, so I did get some layered roses from Altenew. It is Floral Fantasy, and I also got Autumn Sunrise from Brutus Monroe, which is, you know, fall themed. I'm using a new stencil from Scrapping Reflections called Circles Upon Circles, and I'm also scrapbooking 2 photos from the Haunted Mansion holiday in Disneyland. So let's see what I can do. Now I'm going to just use a tiny bit of purple tape on the Circles Upon Circles stencil, and then it doesn't even stick because, you know, my khaki cardstock is khaki-ish. I'm just holding on to the stencil and kind of rubbing some of my Brutus Monroe Alabaster pigment ink over the stencil, and it's just kind of giving me like a little, I don't know, like a little fade of stencil back there. I'm actually going to end up covering up a lot of it. I wish I would have put a tad bit more up at the top, or I wish I would have actually just turned the paper over. It probably would have gone a little bit better. I would have had a little bit more of the stencil design showing through. As it is, at the end, only a little bit peeks out, and I still think it's gorgeous, so I don't think it is a waste of time whatsoever. Now, I am just using an acrylic block, and I'm pulling off those leaves stamps, and I am stamping on some vellum. Now, when you stamp on vellum, the ink kind of just sits on top of the vellum, and I stamped out all of these different leaves with varying colors of Close to My Heart ink. I don't know about you guys, but I have really been loving my Close to My Heart inks lately. I used New England Ivy. I'm actually touching them now, so if you're hearing things, that's what it is. Close to My Heart inks are pretty cool. They have like a magnetic, I don't know if you guys heard that, but they have this magnetic thing so that they stay nice and closed. So anyway, let me tell you the inks I used. I used New England Ivy, Sweet Leaf, Willow, Evergreen, and Avocado. And I just picked out different leaves and kept on stamping them. Now, as I was saying earlier, when you are stamping on vellum, the ink kind of just pools on top of the vellum. It will dry. It will take its good sweet time drying. So I did stamp off all of my leaves, and then I placed it to the side and stamped my flowers. And even though it took me a while to stamp the flowers, by the time I was finished with the flowers, the leaves were still not dry. So I just used my heat tool, and it was basically the exact opposite of embossing, where you go from dull to nice and shiny and smooth and melty, and then it took it from nice and shiny and wet to dry. So there was that going on there. So I don't show that process. I don't show the process of me drying off my vellum. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case you wanted to try stamping on some vellum. Just know that the ink will kind of chill out on top of that vellum. So either give it a good long time to dry, or you're going to need to use the heat tool like I did. So now I am stamping off my florals here from Altenew, and again using those Close to My Heart inks. Like I said, they've just really been, I love the colors, and they just really are kind of rocking my inky life right now. So I started with peach, then I moved to saffron, then I went to nectarine, and then I ended it up with paprika. I am using a stamping tool for this. I definitely recommend a stamping tool if you're going to be doing layered stamps. It just makes it a lot easier. So in case you have to re-ink it, like I have just about each and every single one of these times, you're not going to get the line where you go over it and over it and over again and your lines aren't crisp because you can't keep them in the same exact spot. So I definitely recommend some sort of stamping tool if you are going to take the time to invest in layered stamps, or you have layered stamps and you don't use them, because they are a pain in the butt to line up. Now, Altenew does give these little cheat sheets with their layering stamp sets, and it kind of helps you figure out the way that it needs to be. But even with that cheat sheet, I just feel like it just is worth it, especially to me, to use a stamp platform. Now, these flowers are looking kind of funky, and yeah, they are. And see, I'm even having a hard time lining this up, even though I have the guide right in front of me. But these flowers are funky, and that's okay. Remember, this is going on a Haunted Mansion page, so I don't want them to be like these beautiful spring gorgeous flowers. I kind of want them to have kind of a Haunted Mansion, kind of dead feeling to them. I know that that sounds terrible, but it's true. And then I decide that the peach was just a little bit too light, so I'm going to place the bottom solid layer. I'm going to put the darkest color over top of it, and then I'm going to use a paper towel to kind of blot some of the ink off and just pop that stamp over top of the florals. And you can really see that it really does cover up a majority of that kind of peachy light color, and it makes me ridiculously happy. Now, I do not clean any of these stamps on camera, you guys. Please take the time to take care of your stamps. There are many stamp cleaners, stamp chamois, all kinds of good stuff to actually take care of your stamps. Now, I went ahead and pulled out some papers. I just went into my 6x6 paper stash and pulled some out. I have this green one, and then this orange one was actually a my mind's eye paper, and I didn't think I was ever going to use that creepy skull thing on the back. Even with Haunted Mansion photos, that creepy skull thing was a little bit too anatomically correct for me to use on my layouts. So we're just using that orange side. So I do also pull out some Project Life cards. Now, this is from the Midnight Collection. I went ahead and cut off the little banner that says "Remember This," and it's going up top here on top of the upper photo. And then I'm going to start building my floral clusters. Now, I had a grand time building these floral clusters, and I do have to tell you that taking the time to fussy cut out all of those vellum leaves, it took a good while, guys, but I popped on a YouTube video. I watched some of my scrappy friends' scrapbook while I cut out the leaves. The good thing about the Altenew floral stamps is that they do have coordinating dies, so I just ran that through my die machine. I did not fussy cut out those whatsoever. So I am adding just a tiny bit of adhesive to the bottoms of the floral leaves where I know that they're going to be covered up by other things. And I'm just going to continue to build until I like what I have. Now, I think that it is important to note that I did stamp out a whole bunch of different leaves, and I stamped them out in different colors. And I think that that really adds to it. So it's not just kind of this one note green leaf thing. I think it looks really cool with the layers of vellum and the different color inks over top of it. So now I am using some more of the Project Life cards, and I'm just layering them up. I need a place for a title, and I need a place for some journaling. And this is one of the ways I like to do two photos when I'm not putting them together or like smushed up next to each other or overlapped on a page, is to just separate them and embellish around. Now, I decided that I was going to do my florals a little bit differently than I originally had planned. I originally had planned for them both to be set up like the one on the bottom, where I had the smaller floral on the project life cards and the larger floral on the edge of the photo. But I liked this a little bit better. I thought it adds a little bit more interest to the page so that everything isn't kind of symmetrical. I still feel like the layout is balanced overall, but it doesn't have that symmetrical balance that I thought I wanted. I am going to go ahead and take some of those vellum leaves and build a little cluster up here in the upper left-hand corner. I just felt like I needed some bigger and fancier decoration over there than just, around the cards. So the project life cards do have rounded corners. Now I did think about trimming them down so that they did not have the rounded corners, but that was even going to give me a smaller amount of space to work with, meaning that my cards would be ever so slightly tucked in a little bit more, and I wanted a good amount of them showing. One, because I was going to use one card for journaling, and one because I wanted the title to be able to be contained on the card. And I was originally thinking about spelling out Haunted Mansion. I end up abbreviating it though, so it still turns out, and I like the way it turns out. Now I've grabbed these Amy Tangerine Late Afternoon puffy stickers. Some of these puffy stickers have colors that are different than what I have in the layout. Like I added on the puffy stickers that had a little bit of blue in them, and there's just an ever so slight tinge of pink on some of them, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about that too much. I did go ahead and grab these puffy stickers from Paige Evans. These are actually in my Kill a Kit with Style. They are in my Purple kit this month. And then I have Love HM for Love Haunted Mansion. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of pen to write We So Love Haunted Mansion as my title. And I know that the grammar is funky and it isn't proper English, but guess what? I don't really care. That's how I speak. I say things like we so love, and that's just the way it is. I do go ahead and add my journaling, and my handwriting is a little bit atrocious, battling a headache and such things, so I've got extra letters, extra bits, but I guess it all fits in since it's a layout about the Haunted Mansion. So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you hit the links down below for the other ladies that are participating in Stamping for Scrapbookers, and I will see you again real soon for another video.